Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on? Welcome back.
And today, we're talking about food.
We eat it.
Alright, so today we want to talk about nutrition. Very requested topic on this one, and this is so incredibly important. Like, training, you can do that as much as you want, but when it comes to achieving your goals, nutrition needs to be on point. Whether you want to put on size, whether you want to lose weight, nutrition is king.
Exactly that. As much as you can train as hard as you want, you can't out-train a bad diet. So it's really important that you get this stuff right, and there's no better time than now to make sure that is right.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Like, this is the one thing that we can control right now. We're locked down, but we can still control our nutrition. So in this video, we want to try and break it down, make it as easy to digest as possible. Obviously, if you guys have got more questions about things that we haven't covered, put them in the comments down below. We will try and help you out, but let's get it.
Bottom line, guys, it comes down to calories. If you want to gain weight, you need to be in surplus. If you want to lose weight, you need to be in deficit. So you need to make sure that your calorie control is on point. Simple.
Yeah, exactly, right? And that's the thing, like when it comes to working this stuff out, it's super simple. Like, it works around this thing called TDEE, or Total Daily Energy Expenditure. Not gonna get all sciencey. Basically, that is the number of calories you burn in a day, right? I'm gonna link a calculator down below. You guys can go and check out their website and you can work out what your daily calories are. And from that, like, this is the foundation. It's the foundation for everything. Like, I think everybody should know. No matter what your goal is, just know what roughly your calories are for the day, because it gives you so much power. Once you know that, and you can be like, all right, cool, I want to eat, I want to lose weight, eat less than that. I want to gain weight, eat more than that. Sure, there's like a little bit more to it. We're going to go into that shortly, but the foundation, like the literal, like you want to build a house, you need the foundation. This is that foundation. Work out your calories, work out what your goal is, and adjust them accordingly.
So macros are actually not that daunting. All you're doing is splitting your food into 3 groups: protein, carbs, and fats. You need to make sure that your diet has the right amount of each of these, depending on what your goal is.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing, like when you kind of look at the macros, this is where kind of the gamification aspect comes in, because your core macros are, it's like spending XP points in a video game. Like protein, this is the kind of super basic version. Protein is basically for building muscle, carbs give you energy, fat's good for your hormones. So if you kind of want to make like a video game comparison, think of it as like protein is for strength, and then carbs are for stamina, and like, I don't know, fats are for magic, right? But you kind of, when you start looking at your macros, you start breaking things up, it actually becomes kind of fun, and most importantly, it's empowering. Because once you start understanding your food, once you start understanding your calories, your macros, you can then start to get rid of this notion of good food and bad food, right? Like a lot of people will be like, oh, you shouldn't eat this, you shouldn't eat that. Like ultimately, if you can make your food fit your macros, you can still achieve your goals, and you can still enjoy your food without having to be like, not another meal of chicken, broccoli, and rice. I mean, not gonna lie, chicken and rice is nice, right? But principally, it's not.
Sometimes you want chorizo. I'm just saying. Sometimes you want chorizo. Okay?
This guy wants chorizo every single day.
Every single day.
No, but honestly, that's the thing. And then once you realize that, you were like, you know what? These foods that I've often demonized and been like, I can't eat that because I'm dieting. Like suddenly, I can't have a pizza. It's like, no, if you can make it work, you can have that and still achieve your goals. So macros gives you power.
This is where something like MyFitnessPal comes in. If you're finding tracking macros and diet and weight a little bit too tough, this is where this app makes that whole process a whole bunch simpler. 100% recommend it if you looking for a way to make that easier for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's a free app. You can download it. You can put your numbers into there, and then literally, you've even got things like barcode scanners. You can scan the typical foods you eat. You can then, if you haven't got that, it's got an extensive database. You can search for things. So basically, you just start putting your meals into that, and then as you start to go throughout the day, it'll start filling out your proteins, your carbs, your fats, your calories. And again, this is literally like spending your XP points, right? Because by the end of the day, you're like, oh, I've only got like 10 points in 10 points in protein left, or like 15 points in carbs left. I better spend this in a sensible way. And it sounds cheesy to say that, but honestly, that's the way that like we think about it, and it suddenly makes it enjoyable. And then you kind of get to a point where you have that understanding. It gives you that power. You may not necessarily need to use it as much all the time, but honestly, if you can kind of do a stint where you start with this and you start breaking all this stuff down, you guys are going to be in a much better place. One
thing that MyFitnessPal actually taught me really well was like difference in like food costs. So like things that were like calorie dense or versus calorie light. So I know that chorizo is really expensive and I can't have it as much as I want to, but I can still fit it in. And something like protein yogurt, I can have loads of because it's really light. That works for me.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you know, once you start doing that, you start working out like what your favorite foods are that you can like start sneaking in. Like one of the things that I often do that I use as like a treat. Like I eat a lot of like protein bars, like carb killer bars, for example, like from Grenade. That's one of the ones that I use all the time. It tastes like a chocolate bar, but it kind of goes more towards my goals than like a conventional chocolate bar. So it still feel like mentally, it still fits that snack mentality where I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm having a treat, but it's also a lot better for me, you know, in the kind of grand scheme of things. So yeah, ultimately, to kind of round this all out, like when it comes to nutrition, there are no ifs, there are no buts. If you want to achieve your goal, understanding this is the most important thing. Like forget training. I mean, don't actually forget training, super important, but forget training. This needs to be sorted.
And remember, guys, you can't out-train a bad diet. And remember, can't out-train a bad diet. Can't do it. Guys, you can't out-train a bad diet. Not possible.
Buckle up.
Sonic finger. Do the Sonic finger.